Hello everyone and welcome to what is the penultimate edition of NXT from the Hammerstein Ballroom. We are just 2 shows away now from NXT Takeover, the end, and subsequently the end of NXT as a show. Tonight though we have a big show for you as per always. Main event of the evening coming our way. We saw Shayna Baszler assault Toni Storm last week. We'll get a rematch from NXT Takeover Chicago as Toni Storm and Shayna Baszler will lock one-on-one in our main event. But to kick things off this evening, we are going to find out just who will be squaring off to face Tomohiro Ishii for the NXT Global Championship at NXT Takeover the End. It is an uphill battle for this man right here. It is Kalisto against Brody King. The rise of Kalisto over these last several weeks really has been a great thing for Kalisto. It has been a real helpful addition for Kalisto, and it's really given him an opportunity to parade himself around really and showcase that his talents have not dipped, and that is why he is here tonight with a grand opportunity in front of him to become the #1 contender to the NXT Global Championship. But as I said, it is absolutely going to be an uphill battle for him, taking on a man with only 1 loss on his record, a man who will, well, he will absolutely trump over Kalisto in terms of height and certainly in terms of weight as well. This man is by no means going to be around Kalisto's size in any way, shape or form. It is an uphill battle. It is an underdog scenario that Kalisto finds himself in when he's locked in the ring against the one, the only, the near unstoppable force of NXT, and that is Brody King. Brody King and Tomohiro Ishii last week on NXT came face to face with one another. They looked each other in the eyes. They didn't come to blows on that evening, which was rather interesting, but they certainly said plenty with their actions. Brody King is here tonight, however, though, to look to seek that #1 contendership prize. Both men in some ways are men of few words, Kalisto much preferring to let his actions within the ring do the talking for him. Brody King much preferring to let actions non-stop do the talking for him, be it in the ring, out of the ring, backstage, on the top rope, wherever it is. Brody King does what is necessary to put anyone away, and that typically comes down to his power advantage that he has within that ring over his opponents. Will he have a power advantage over Tomohiro Ishii if he makes it to NXT Takeover the End? I don't know. What I do know, if that match does take place in NXT Takeover the End, we get a horse match on the final ever version of NXT. That is, if Brody King can overcome Kalisto here tonight. I know I said it's a David and Goliath situation, but still, if you know the tale of David and Goliath, David beats Goliath. Can Kalisto pull that off here this evening? Brody King certainly isn't afraid of him, that's for sure. Look at this. Kalisto coming out of the gates here. Look at a swing there on Brody King, and he gets in a good forearm shot there. Heavy hitting the back, and a hurricanrana takes Brody King off his feet. Kalisto looking to explode out of the early gates here onto Brody King and try and take the big man off guard. And maybe try to slip his way towards victory. It's going to be an uphill battle for Kalisto, but then again, he might be able to pride himself in one of those situations. Dropkick swatted away there by Brody King, who just ran down Kalisto with that lariat. God, he made it look so powerful as well, especially when it's done on a smaller man. Look out now. Exploder in the turnbuckle. Rough landing for Kalisto there. Certainly going to be feeling the effects of that one. Oh no, Brody King looking for a massive powerbomb. Kalisto able to counter. Look at this. Sunset flip. Could he have him right here, right now? Oh, good God. Brody King putting his weight down on the shoulders of Kalisto. The Lucha Dragon able to get his shoulders up at 2. Fair play to him. Unable though to find his way out from that German suplex. And a discus clothesline of epic proportions follows up. Doesn't hook the leg. Cover is still made, but Kalisto gets the shoulder up at the relative early count of 1. And keeps on going here. Oh no. Oh no. Torture rack. Oh! Nothing fancy about that, just a torture rack drop followed up by a senton. Brody King knows he's got the power advantage and he's using every inch of it here to beat down Kalisto in this match and make it as painful and as difficult as possible for Kalisto to come back here. Cloverleaf locked in now, bending and stretching the agile body of Kalisto. But even then, no matter if you're agile or not, your body is not meant to bend in that direction. Kalisto breaks his way free. That one comes in with a drop kick to take down Brody King. Kick in the gut now. Look out here. Side flip power bomb from Kalisto. Code red. Now on the second. Oh! Second rope Phoenix splash, my goodness! Absolutely incredible by Kalisto, but the shoulder is still up in time for Brody King. Not quite close enough for Kalisto there, but good God, what a move it was! Don't think I've ever, I can't think of an instance off the top of my head where I've seen the Phoenix splash executed from a springboard like that. I've seen it from the second turnbuckle and the top rope, but never like that. Kalisto certainly breaking out infinite offense there, and now turning the pace of this match around. On the apron here, could Kalisto look to fly back in the ring on Brody King? He does! Seated senton takes Brody King off his feet. Kalisto has an incredible opportunity right in front of him for 50-0! King may have been writhing around in pain, but he was able to break his way, get the knees up, and the discus clothesline damn near the head off of Kalisto. A jawbreaker from Kalisto right there, and again, that head scissors takedown, causing issues for Brody King. It is the speed factor here at Kalisto that is really giving him the opportunity to shine. This isn't just a pinty #1 contendership that has been handed the way of Kalisto. He's fought for it, but he is getting hurt if he wants that right now. Pump handle, suplex maybe from Brody King. But Kalisto, as ever, keeps on fighting. Rolling kick from Kalisto, doesn't give up. Doesn't let up at the moment in front of a drop kick there. And now a drop kick to a seated Brody King as well. He may have taken a beating, but he's moving at 100 miles an hour still. 450 from Kalisto. Go for the cover. Go for the cover. The chance is right in front of you. He hooks the leg as he kept Brody King. Oh my God. Imagine hitting that kick. 2 drop kicks, a 450, and only getting a 1 count for your troubles. How much does that demoralize you? Well, it's not demoralizing Kalisto. He's looking for it. Can David conquer Goliath again? Salida Del Sol. No! Counted! What a counter for Brody King. Opening in front of him. All-seeing eye. Hooks up Kalisto. Brody King is going to take over the end. It is Brody King who will face the Stone Pitbull at NXT Takeover the end. Brody King has done it, and he looks over with good reason. Ishii is in the building, and he's coming right towards the ring right now. Last week they stared down backstage. This time they'll stare down in the ring. Brody King, Tomohiro Ishii, NXT Global Championship at Takeover the end. You know, if I had anything to say about that, it would be that Bret Hart, for all of his talk about how his team is the best, he seems a little uneasy. He doesn't like the fact that his team doesn't seem on the front foot heading into TakeOver the End against LIJ. He doesn't like that. Matter of fact, if you had to convince me, I'd say he's a little bit afraid of NXT Takeover the End. That was certainly what it seemed like from Bret the Hitman Hart anyway. Not exuberant with confidence as he was in that same position a few weeks ago. Back-to-back singles losses, he may say they haven't had an impact. But saying is one thing, and your actions are another. There certainly was some actions from Bret the Hitman Hart. Anyway, we move on here to a rematch from many moons ago. Elias to go one-on-one with Jonathan Gresham here this evening. Last time these two men squared off, an uncanny mistake from Jonathan Gresham as he was rolled up and pinned by Elias. And last week we saw Jonathan Gresham, he went into the general manager's office with Logan Wayne and asked. He said he wasn't here to plead, he wasn't here to suck up, he just wanted that rematch with Elias. He didn't want it a takeover, he wanted it as soon as possible. And credit where it's due to Logan Wayne, he gave it to him as soon as possible. He gave it to him here tonight. Will the same mistake befall Jonathan Gresham is the question, however, or will he be able to overcome the mistakes that led him to that defeat against Elias in the first place? We are about to find out here. Gresham heading towards the ring, looking dialed in, looking focused, and looking as determined as ever. Will we see the submission-based game of Jonathan Gresham here this evening, or is it going to be much more of an angry kind of style from Jonathan Gresham? You know, how much is that defeat, how much is it sitting in him? How much is it kind of plaguing the mind of Jonathan Gresham? I mean, clearly it was getting to him, considering, well, that loss was about a month and a half ago now, I believe. Maybe, yeah, about 6 weeks ago. And he still went to the general manager's office of Logan Wayne to ask for that rematch. Well, say a lot about Jonathan Gresham. So here we go. We're underway here between Elias and Gresham. Gresham certainly not looking to work his way into a Colorado sequence there. He went straight after Elias, but Elias was the first man to knock someone off their feet with that huge big boot. Shoulder bomb there from Elias. Stacks him up early, looking for lightning to strike twice, but it's only a 1 count. Of course, we have talked about this now since SummerSlam, since the evening, basically, where Elias beat Jonathan Gresham. That NXT, of course, is coming to an end, and everyone here on this roster is fighting not only against their opponents, but for that opportunity, of course, to have a contract heading into the next series of Universe on either Raw, SmackDown, or ECW. We know that anyone who has made it to NXT Takeover the End has a guaranteed contract, and Elias looking to try and get the attention of the general managers, but that only got one there on Gresham. So these two men are not only fighting against one another here. Jonathan Gresham's not only fighting for revenge, he's fighting for the hopes. He is fighting for his career, basically. I'm not saying his career is going to be done and over. I'm saying that Jonathan Gresham, you know, if he can't get the interest of myself, Sting, or Christian James, well, there's no future for him in this universe. That's not a... I definitely think that for all of those in NXT who are looking to expand to the main roster, that is not something that they are looking or they are thinking about. It's certainly not something that they want to happen either. Elias right now using his power advantage over Jonathan Gresham here, simply throwing him around, looking for that powerbomb again. Gresham rolls him up, sunset flip here. We saw it in the last match against Kalisto. Could it happen again here? 2 count. Oh, just like in the prior match, Elias flips over. This time Brody King ain't falling for no roll-up. Huge left-hand lariat there though from Elias. Takes Gresham off his feet. Elias in now from behind. Look out, this dangerous electric chair of Elias that we've seen in recent memory is denied by Gresham. Usually Elias turns it into an electric chair sit-out bomb. This time, however, Gresham comes up with a very innovative counter and then drives Elias' knee into the mat. Look out now. Knee coming down in the turnbuckle. And Gresham, this was the move in some ways that led to his defeat to take over Brooklyn. The abdominal stretch, it didn't do the job last time around. Is it going to do the job here tonight? No. Elias breaks out of it fairly quickly. And Elias goes right back to some simple strikes and being effective against Jonathan Gresham. Gresham, though, ducks under that attempted strike. They're nicely done indeed. Look at these body shots here incoming from Gresham now. Irish whip off the ropes, raises the knee. Elias counters with an elbow right down in the knee there. Look out, Elias in from behind. Here's Lightning about to strike twice. Roll up on Gresham, roll up on the octopus. Oh, this time Gresham refuses to fall for it. Kicks out at 2. Elias has his leg caught. Gresham, elbows down in the knee. And Gresham, tit for tat. He'll roll up Elias. Cover is made, yeah. And he got him. Turnabout is fair play for Jonathan Gresham. And he made it stick here tonight. Gresham gets the win in exactly the same fashion that Elias had over him. A roll-up win for Jonathan Gresham. Victory tastes so sweet because Elias reaps what he sows here tonight. His business, though, all done. Maybe not. We move on, though, here in NXT to a tag team contest this evening. And, well, it goes without saying, Hammerstein Ballroom not too pleased to see this man. And again, I think there's only ever one man who is pleased to see this man, and it's this man. MJF, Maxwell, Jacob, Friedman heading towards the ring here. It is tag team action as the duo of Perfect will go up against the Street Profits here. In a tag match, of course, that is important for both sides, heading towards the desire, of course, to get those contracts to continue their career in this universe. A career for MJF that has only just begun. He made his debut at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. He stood alongside EC3. He took care of Ty Dillinger on that evening. And he showed that Perfect is now no longer EC3 and Dillinger. It is EC3 and MJF. But we are going to see if this duo can work together cohesively. Clearly they can't make their entrance together, though that was the case before with Dillinger and EC3, so that doesn't really strike me as a surprise. Usually when two guys are as full of an ego as these two men are, they are going to make their ways out separate to one another. So this doesn't shock me in the slightest. I think the best way of putting it would be that. But let's see what will happen here in their tag team matchup. They are going up against a tough duo. Let's not make any mistakes about it. The Street Profits have been gaining in strides immensely over the last several months, really. It's been a bit of a slow building process for them, but they have gone from being basically a step-over team on NXT to being a competitive team and a team that we have seen on a number of occasions pick up a very big win in those cases as well. I mean, I think their biggest win came maybe just before NXT TakeOver Brooklyn when they secured a massive win over the Usos on that evening. Have had their opportunities against some other big teams as well. But now tonight they look for a big match over, and a big win, over Perfect. Remember the slogan for Perfect and the way it's spelled, the E and the C is capitalized in this team because, as EC3 says it, you can't spell perfect without EC3. I wonder what MJF has to say towards that now. Does he agree with that statement? Is he okay with his name not being involved in the duo? Does he really care? Maybe. MJF does seem actually like the kind of guy who might well have a tizzy over those little types of issues. But then again, I'm not going to try and bring tension towards Perfect. EC3's already had plenty of tension with one of his former tag team partners, of course, in Ty Dillinger. Let's be honest, all I was saying basically is not even hearsay. It might be speculation at best. EC3 is looking for a big win here tonight for his duo. He's invested heavily in MJF and he wants to see all of that pay off with a big win here tonight as they go up against these two men. I imagine EC3 and MJF might well see these guys as the absolute polar opposites of one another. As it is these two men who are very much down with the Hammerstein Ballroom crowds, their way of life, and the way of life of many like them. Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, they love that party lifestyle. They love to go all out. They love to be in and amongst the people. And I think win or lose here tonight, momentum is still going to be as high for the Street Profits. Confidence is still going to be as high because whatever happens here, win or lose, they're going to be holding their after party wherever that may be. In the streets of Brooklyn, in the streets in New York, Times Square, in this building, we don't know, but be sure, win or lose, there's going to be a Street Profits after party, and everyone is invited. Dawkins and Ford, though, looking for a big win here this evening. And it's certainly safe to say that MJF and EC3 aren't very big fans of the after party from the Street Profits. I don't think they would very much indulge themselves in those kind of parties. But regardless of that, Ford and Dawkins here this evening to put smiles on the faces of those in the Hammerstein Ballroom and looking to put an even bigger smile than they already have on their own faces with a win here tonight over Perfect, which would be a huge, huge win for Dawkins and Ford. So it'll be MJF to start things off here against Angelo Dawkins. Let's see what'll happen in this moment. MJF staying in his corner for a few moments. There may be a few extra words from EC3 being spoken as MJF gets to work here. Spinning back fist against the taller of the two men in the ring right now in Angelo Dawkins. I would imagine the heavier as well. Let's see what'll happen right now. Bridging him up on the top rope here. Not a good place for Angelo Dawkins to be. Gets himself off the top rope though. And hot shots MJF down on that top rope. Just because the Street Profits are about that party and lifestyle, about the people, doesn't mean that they aren't willing to go that extra step, good or bad, to pick up a win in this ring. Look at that strength from MJF there. What a German suplex from MJF. Tag is made here. EC3 comes in now. Let's see what these two men can make happen. Double arm drag and kicks in stereo to the front and back of Angelo Dawkins. Elbow there by EC3, back elbow by Dawkins as well. Hammer effective enough to send EC3 in the corner, right hand. And that may have given him the opening to make the tag into Montez Ford. Ford now the legal man in this ring, and he's coming out of the gates swinging with a nice suplex. Almost picture perfect, essentially, suplex from Montez Ford. Hitting the ground running, doing what's necessary of him right from the very get-go, and that is to get to work on EC3, sending him into the ring pole there, and stomping into the gut of EC3, and those very chiseled abs of the 1%er as well. Oh, what a counter from EC3 there, and a drop kick comes down on Montez Ford. Amazing to see a man of his stature and size able to execute such a perfect and athletic reversal. Knee lift from EC3 right then and there. And this is going to be a good test to see how Perfect can work together as a duo. I'm almost certain this is their first match as a tag team. Look out, double back body drop, and that'll take down Montez Ford here. Dawkins wanting to get back in this ring as soon as possible. Not happening, however. MJF putting the brakes on it. And Perfect doing a good job right now of controlling this contest. Maybe I spoke too soon. Tag is made. In comes Angelo Dawkins here. Simple but effective tag team offense. Drop toe hold. Elbow in the small of the back. Momentum may well turn around to the Street Profits here. Nice gut buster from Angelo Dawkins right then and there. Hook of the leg. Has he done enough to put away MJF here this evening? Is it a big win for the Street Profits? The shoulders up in time. MJF comes back there with a nice shot in the ribs. Look out. Now Tiger suplex. Folded him up. Once again, that incredible strike. Oh my God. Oh! Jesus! How can the referee allow such a heinous act to stand? Low blow right in front of the referee's eyes. And the match still keeps on going here. Assisted suplex now. Dawkins may well have been finished off after that low blow. The cover is made. Dawkins is done for surely, but no. EC3 can hardly believe it. Dawkins raises his shoulder up in time. Street Profits still alive here, but I can't believe the referee let that one stand. 99% of the time, a low blow is a disqualification. The referee, though, decided otherwise. Maybe he was hoping that the Street Profits could come back. And they're doing just that. Tag is made here. Montez Ford, the legal man. The fight back is on from the Profits. Corner splash, lariat. They haven't died out just yet. Cover is made. Is it over and done with here? MJF doing the right move and the smart move. Whether EC3 wanted the assist or not, he came to the aid and he took care of him. Look at this now. Great combo from Montez Ford. MJF running back in this match there. EC3 unable to make the tag. Counters a chop, however, and he will send him right into the turnbuckle. Ford can't capitalize on what was a very impactful start, shall we say. Double axe handle down on the arm. Drop kick on it as well from MJF. Oh no. MJF may well be thinking about the ending right here, right now. The Friedman armbar special. A devastating armbar, and it's over and done with. Over and done with just like that. Perfect have done it. Victory sustained on this evening. It doesn't matter, it seems, whether or not you do damage on the arm throughout the contest or you just slap on that hold right at the end. The job is done regardless. EC3, MJF victorious, looked sleek in it as well, controlling the Street Profits. Perfect your winners. And you get the feeling there's going to be a bidding war for these two arrogant, cocky men. Right now, we look at one guy who there may not be a bidding war for, but rather a guy who is desperate in so many ways to get his name onto a roster list. I'm not saying he isn't on a list. I'm saying that he's absolutely searching, seeking, not really pleading. I think that's too desperate of a word to describe Hangman Page, but he would absolutely desire to be on a roster heading forward. And the simple reality why I say all of that, because if you had to ask me, as a general manager of ECW, he isn't on my radar. I'm sorry, I think he's too inconsistent in the ring. I just don't think he provides enough within those ropes. He has all the hallmarks and all the bearings of a great wrestler, but I don't know. I just feel as if Hangman Page just doesn't deliver on it. He just isn't able to make it happen in that ring. As for right now, Hangman Page will have to be focused here as he is going up against that man right there, one half of CCK, Travis Banks. CCK rebounded last week in the tag team action with a victory, albeit a squash victory for them, over a duo of Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil, I believe it was. Nevertheless, here right now, Travis Banks looking to go in singles action. We saw Chris Brooks take on Brody King a few weeks back. Now it's time for Travis Banks to have his crack at singles action against Hangman Page. I'd say it's less more of a desperation saloon for CCK. Runners-up, of course, in this year's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, so I don't think they're going to be too concerned about it all. Hangman Page, on the other hand, this is last chance saloon for him, if you had to ask me. If Hangman Page loses this match right now, I'd say that's game over for Hangman in this universe. I really would. Because I think if he loses here, I think Raw and SmackDown just think, nope. You know, I could send a contract elsewhere. Or I can use the money that I might have been looking to give Hangman to woo some of the other bigger names in. Like a Tomohiro Ishii, a Jeff Cobb, a Brody King, those kind of examples. And so this really is a huge moment for Hangman Page in this ring. This is an absolute must-win scenario for Hangman Page, and he's making the most of it. Comes in right away with a neck breaker on Travis Banks. Cover is made. Leg is hooked. He's wasting little time here and trying to make as much of an impact as soon as possible. Gets a one count on Travis Banks here. Look at this. Swinging away with hard shots. Brooks came out in the losing end of things against Brody King. Will Travis Banks have the same fate befall him? Or could he be, in many ways, responsible for why we won't see Hangman Page in a few short weeks' time? Travis Banks right now going to work here. Look out, bringing Hangman Page in. Brainbuster! Snap Brainbuster as well. He knows it's too soon in the match to be trying to look to put Hangman Page away here. Sends him in the turnbuckle instead, and a kick right in the chest. Hangman Page trying to stay up on his feet for as long as possible. Eventually brought off them though. Incoming now by... Oh, Travis Banks, Ushigoroshi, neck crank follows up as well. Good combination. Banks is well aware of that. Jumps into the cover as he finished off Hangman Page. Shit, no, the shoulder's up in time. Travis Banks a little bit disappointed that was only a 2 count, but a damn great move nonetheless. As he keeps on going here. Forearm shot in the face, and another one. That one caught its mark, and that knee did as well. Banks slides in, covers made. Is it all done for? Zero! The shoulders rise up once again. And Banks can hardly believe it in so many ways as well. Here we go. Top rope goes Travis Banks now. High risk opportunity, went for a double foot stomp. Hangman Page moves out of the way. From behind now. Back suplex, and he makes the most of it. These guys just go in action-packed. One move to the next, one big move to the next as well. Hangman Page looking for a big move in this one. Buckshot, lariat! Caught its target 100%. Got a great spring as well from it. After that handspring, and is it victory? Is it a must-win for Hangman Page? It's not. The shoulder is up in time from Travis Banks, but Hangman Page isn't looking to play games. He's just looking to win, plain and simple. Rite of passage from Hangman Page. He gets it, and he gets that win, that needed win. Does that keep him on the radars of the general managers? Does that keep his hopes alive? Hangman Page needed a win more than ever. His future was on the line, and he wasn't willing to mess around. He wasn't willing to play games. He wanted a win. He needed a win, and he got one. Well, we heard from Jay Lethal right there. He is far from pleased, heading towards NXT Takeover the end. But next week in our final version of NXT from the Hammerstein Ballroom, he will compete in the main event. It will be Brody King and Hangman Page against Tomohiro Ishii and Jay Lethal. So a huge tag match to come our way in the final edition of NXT from this building next week. But as for tonight, it is our final women's main event in this building. It is Toni Storm against Shayna Baszler. Here we go between these two women. Toni Storm, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte, Io Shirai. They all meet for the NXT Women's Championship at NXT Takeover the end, which means their futures are sealed, be it on the Raw or SmackDown women's division in the future. However, we saw it last week. Toni Storm qualified for the women's match by pinning Candice LeRae in a very competitive back and forth match, but as she was celebrating her win, Shayna Baszler came charging towards the ring, steel chair in hand, smashed it across the head of Toni Storm, locked in the Ace of Spades clutch, and here we are tonight now with these two women locking horns as we gear ourselves up towards Takeover the end. Toni Storm has had a number of opportunities at that title in the past. This woman's only had one, And she was 3 seconds away from winning that crown. Remember back to Brooklyn, the Ace of Spades clutch was locked in. Io Shirai looked done for. The match was bordering 10 minutes long, and I would say Shayna Baszler controlled about 7.5, 8 minutes of it, easily. But in a counter that I don't think any of us were expecting, that Ace of Spades clutch was locked in, and when it looked like Shirai was going to tap, she floated over, kept the shoulders of Baszler pinned down, and got the 1-2-3 to hang on to that title. Since then, Baszler has been far from a happy camper. She took out Shirai 2 weeks ago. She took out Storm last week. They meet in the ring here tonight. Can the Queen of Spades prove why I believe she is the favorite heading into Takeover the End? I believe, and I was not the only one as well who believed that she was the favorite heading into Takeover Brooklyn as well. And so here we go, our main event of the evening is underway. Toni Storm, putting up a false front for Shayna Baszler from the off. Toni Storm making Shayna Baszler think she had the chance to act cocky and confident. It was anything but the case. Toni Storm lulling her in there and exploding out of the gates. German suplex on the second rope, and a series of strikes follows up. Baszler, you are in for a rough road here this evening. Toni Storm is gunning for revenge. Look out, German suplex again. Man, Storm really is acting with vengeance within her. And revenge, maybe not only for herself, but for Io Shirai as well, if not certainly for what we saw last week from Baszler on Storm. Big uppercut. Oh, Baszler though read her so well. Sent her into that second rope there and just dug the knee into the back as Storm's throat went smashing into that second rope. Baszler so dangerous, so damaging, and so dominating within that ring once she gets going. Hard kicks in the chest, Russian leg sweep follows up as well. Look out now. Slamming her down on the mat from that fireman's carry position and stretching the body of Toni Storm. You can see the pain on Toni Storm's face from that hold. It's not a tap out. She's not looking for that quite yet. But when she locks that Ace of Spades clutch in, you better believe the end of the match is on its way. Snap suplex with a float over there. Gets a 1 count. Toni Storm still in trouble here. Shayna Baszler has turned the momentum of this match around, and it is suddenly all about the Queen of Spades. Much to the chagrin of this Hammerstein Ballroom crowd. Great counter from Toni Storm. Hard forearm in the face. Storm trying to come back with shots of her own. Another uppercut comes in there. Toni Storm swinging back here. Looking to turn things around. Looking for a massive shining wizard that will catch Shayna Baszler flush. Baszler still in this one, but sent out of the ring by Toni Storm. And that is something that the Hammerstein Ballroom were quite pleased to see. Referee's count will start, and you can see how personal this bout is to Toni Storm. Remember, she tapped out at NXT Takeover Chicago as well to that Ace of Spades clutch. So she knows what it's like to be in that hole before, and she certainly will not be looking to tap out to it again. But Baszler turns things around with an easy feat of strength from the former professional mixed martial artist. And face first into that apron went Toni Storm. Shayna Baszler throws Toni back in the ring. And Toni time is slowly starting to be defused the longer this match goes on, because the more dangerous Shayna Baszler gets. Oh, what a hard shot there. A Saito suplex follows up from Shayna Baszler as well. And look at the arrogance from her. This is what helps to make her such a favorite. She has that arrogance, she has that confidence, and she can always back it up in the ring as well. What a counter from Toni Storm. Flips out of the German suplex, comes in with a flying forearm. Great counter from Storm. And a huge opportunity in front of her. Diving elbow drop on the top rope. Can Toni Storm look to put away Shayna Baszler this evening? Outside leg is hooked, but it only gone as a 2 count, and Storm still can't believe it. Storm would love for a huge win and maybe to derail the favorite heading into That fatal four-way match, you gotta think Charlotte and Shirai, are they watching on as well as we witness this matchup here? Oh no, it's back to this hold again. Back to stretching that back. Shayna Baszler doing damage. Let's see what happened here. Heavy kick in the chest there from Shayna Baszler. And again, she is wearing down the body. She is wearing down every asset of Toni Storm that she needs to win this contest. Camel clutch here. Could it be enough about wearing out? Could it be tapping up for Toni Storm? No, Storm stays alive. Slips her way out and comes in with an immense running knee. Leg is hooked. Is it over? Oh, the shoulder's up just in time. Storm thought she had it there, but not quite the case. Shayna Baszler still alive. Toni Storm, though, risking everything to try and win here. Shayna Baszler stops her, though. Oh my God, what a high kick. You could hear the thud of that boot connecting with the head of Toni Storm. Now, that's not the only time we'll hear Storm's head thud into something as he goes face first into the mat. That may not be flashy offense, but it's dangerous offense. And that is really a lot of the repertoire of Shayna Baszler. Dangerous offense. This is flashy, but this is still dangerous. It is a deadlift, gut wrench, superplex. And it could also be one other thing, and that is game over. The leg is hooked. Is Toni Storm done for? She still kicks at it too. The heart of Toni Storm will keep her going forevermore. The fire burns in her. But is Shayna Baszler well on her way to extinguishing that fire? Hurricanrana out from Storm. It seems not, if anything. That devastating blow may have only engulfed the flames further. Corner punches there, but Baszler, easy enough, pushes her away, went for a high knee lift. Storm moves out of the way. Another German suplex in this contest. Toni Storm hitting big, going hard. Storm, oh, countered there by Baszler. Baszler now from behind. Reverse DDT. Oh, counter by Storm, however, though, in response. She stops Baszler from taking control. Strong zero. Strong zero from Storm. She didn't go for the cover. Baszler too hooked up in the ropes. But Storm connect with strong zero. Drag her away, Toni. It could be Toni time. It could be an immense win for Toni Storm. 1, 2, 3, no! Toni Storm can't believe it. Natural shock and disappointment breaking out there. She thought she had done it. She thought it was all over. Shayna Baszler not only kicks out, but keeps on fighting. How much does that just hurt the confidence of Toni Storm to hit the biggest move in your arsenal and to find out not only did your opponent fight out of it, but they fight right back as well. And all of a sudden, not only are you in the back foot, but you were in dangerous territory again. Back superplex. Good God almighty. And Storm ain't moving. There is no movement from Toni Storm. Oh no. And Baszler, she loves it. She loves it because she knows the game is about to be over. She knows that she endured strong zero. And now it is her plaything to finish this match off. Back-to-back gut-wrench suplexes. Middle of the ring. Storm rising to her feet. But let's be honest, she is going to be out on her feet. And she is going to be out on her back. Ace of Spades clutch is locked in. The Ace of Spades clutch is locked in. The legs are wrapped around Toni Storm. The arm is under the throat. Storm can fight, but this crowd is silent because they know it's the inevitable. Toni Storm taps out. Baszler wins. And she laughs in the face of victory as well. Oh my goodness! Charlotte backstage! On the NXT Women's Champion, Charlotte and Shirai. Not Natural selection backstage. And in the ring, no. First off, the assault on Shirai, and another ace of spades clutch. Charlotte and Baszler, synchronized or not, have just taken out half of the field, heading to take over the end.